And it's a great pleasure to be here in Copenhagen, and I want to thank Stephanie and her team for their great welcome and for the efficiency of the programme that is now underway. And we were very glad to commence today with our Eurogroup meeting, which was distinctive in that we welcomed our colleagues and friends from Bulgaria in as observers into the Eurogroup, in anticipation of them becoming full members of the euro area as of the 1st of January. For this session, we also welcomed Chair Laluk, the Chair of the Econ Committee of the European Parliament, to continue our important dialogue with the Parliament. The first item that we discussed was the Eurogroup work programme, which will take us up to the middle of next year. This was the culmination of consultations that I've had with all members of the Eurogroup. We're all aware of the dramatic change that is taking place around us, but the continued value of Europe and the strength and impact of the collective decisions that we make. And the work programme aims to continue to bring that to life in the decisions that we want to make. The key themes of that work programme are our work with regard to budget coordination, our continued efforts with regard to capital markets and the banking union, and then also the various projects that are feeding into the role of the euro, but within the euro area, its growth and also its role within the global economy. That in turn informed the discussion that we had on the digital euro. But before we got to the digital euro discussion, we continued our agenda with an update on the economic situation, the summary of which is, despite the uncertainty that exists on so many different levels, our outlook does continue to be of growth which is resilient, and at the heart of that growth is the continued strong performance of labour markets all over the euro area. Each of us within the Eurogroup know that that growth needs to be strengthened. We know there's much that we can do to improve the economic performance of the euro area on the world stage, but at the same time, the fact that our growth outlook has moved up by a bit, and the fact that the jobs performance is still so strong are very important elements in how we see the euro performing. That then set the stage for what was a very important and ultimately very productive discussion on the digital euro. And before I go any further, I want to acknowledge and thank the commitment that non-euro countries have demonstrated to this project in the presidencies of Poland, which has now been built on under the work of Stephanie and the Danish presidency. In the discussion here today, what we aim to do was to identify a way forward and a basis for discussion that will now continue amongst ministers in the ECOFIN format regarding the ceiling for holding limits, and then ultimately on the issuance process itself for the digital euro. And after much work, we found a broad consensus on the balance with regard to these important issues, and this balance is in full respect of the mandate and prerogative of each institution that is involved in the digital euro. And this signals the determination that we have to advance this important project, and I want to underline again my view that the digital future of the euro is an essential part of its future. We are all now very conscious of public understanding and trust with regard to this project, and that's why we've put so much time and consideration into these discussions. And all of this will now move forward under the Council presidency, where legal drafting will continue and then be presented to ministers. We then had a very short information point on recent G7 discussions, and while today wasn't an opportunity for a detailed discussion because there are so many different elements now underway, it also provided an opportunity for us to get some helpful updates on that work. So a very, very productive and a very conclusive discussion here in Eurogroup today, and it sets the scene for a lot more work that we'll do when we meet again in Luxembourg in October. So Valdis, over to you, and thank you.